Hi, Tens, and good morning. It's Mrs. Spence here. We're going to talk you through your choices for maths for next year and also your choices for maths for next semester. Okay, so what are your choices? As you probably are well aware by now that you have two choices. You can choose a general subject or you can choose an applied subject. The general subjects we have on offer are general mathematics, mathematical methods, and also an elective called specialist maths. The general mathematics prereq is a very, very good C and above in Year 10 maths. The prereq for methods and specialist is getting a B or above in Year 10 extension. Our non-ATAR subject, or our applied subject, is essential maths. And essential maths should be the choice for you if you are considering doing a traineeship or apprenticeship and not attending universities and have never really had success in maths at all. All right, so what we're going to do now is just take each of those subjects, each of the general subjects, and talk a little bit more about what they can get you into uni and the type of work that's involved in them. Okay, so general maths, remember with general maths, we're looking for a prereq of a good C or above in general Year 10 maths. The big thing with general maths, if you want just to get into university, it tends to be the prereq for most courses that need a little bit of maths. So if you're considering just a business course or commerce course, getting into education, finance, IT, social sciences, or the arts, then you definitely need it. If you are thinking of being an electrician as a trade, a lot of the maths that's involved in that trade needs a lot of rigor. So it's also getting a pass in general maths would also be beneficial for helping you there. Hi, grade 11. So let's have a look at what is involved in the study of general maths. The first thing you'll notice is that we've got unit 1, 2, 3, and 4. We don't normally talk about semesters anymore. We normally talk about units. In maths, the units go from anywhere between 15 weeks, which is generally about what unit 1 and 2 are, to about 18 weeks with unit 3 and 4. So in grade 11, you will study all of unit 1, all of unit 2, and at some point in term 4, you will start unit 3. So let's look at the topics. Money, measurement, and relations is the first unit. But if we have a look in there, we have familiar things like measurement, so literally what we're doing now with areas and surface areas. We also have linear equations and their graphs, which is what you did in term 1 in maths this year. Going to unit 2, you'll see the word trigonometry. So again, that is applications of Pythag and applications of sine, cos, and tan. We will have algebra, and we also have the univariate data analysis, which is looking at stuff, again, that we have about to finish with our assignment, talking about measures of centres and measures of spread. So we do have familiar work that we have studied this year. If we go over to unit 3, you'll see that's bivariate data, so our scatter plots analysis that we're also looking at this year in our course. There are other new things like earth geometry and time zones, which we probably investigated at some point in our junior maths curriculum. We also have loans, unities, and some new work on graphs, networks, and making decisions in maths. Okay, let's look at why you would study maths methods. And again, the prereq for that is a B or above in Year 10 Extension Maths. The big difference between methods in general is the amount of algebra that you have to do. And these are some suggested careers that need mathematical methods. So we've got anything to do with a maths science degree, anything to do with medical or health sciences, engineering, computer science, psychology and business. And again, I have thrown in the trade of electrician. Again, because of the rigour in understanding the voltages and currents and the things you have to do, the maths that you have to work out, having that is a mode of thinking will definitely help you in the electrical trade. All right, let's have a look at the units. The units, again, you'll see that, again, the big difference is the amount of algebra that you have to do. But if we go down there, we are talking about looking at different sorts of graphs. With definitely straight line graphs that we have done this year are in there. We then also start looking at curves, which we've got exponential functions, log functions are all curves, trig functions, so we'll look in depth at sine, cos and tan curves. We start calculus, which is again looking at some rates of change that the groundings of that have already started in grade 9 maths, looking at gradients. The big thing also is that you will need a graphics calculator. They are about $180, the ones that the school wishes you to have. You'll get more information at the end of the year about how to purchase one cheaply through our school. Okay, let's have a look at specialist maths. And again, specialist maths is an elective. It is one that you don't have to choose. It will be on the elective lines. I'll be honest that we haven't had a specialist course this year. However, I'm hoping that we get one. And if you're interested about starting specialist maths, please come and see me or any of your friendly maths teachers, and we'll have a chat about trialling a specialist maths course and giving you a taste of what it's like in sport time on a Wednesday. Okay, the prereq again is you have to get a B or above in your grade 10 maths. The only catch is that in order to study specialist maths, you need also to study mathematical methods. And the reason for that is that the maths that we do in mathematical methods, we extend upon in specialist maths. This is definitely, if you read the PowerPoint, is if you're good at maths and you enjoy it, then this is your subject. Generally, if you're thinking about an engineering degree, and if you look down here, we've got engineering as one of the courses, anything with computer science, medicine, anything with math and statistics. It'll also help with a science course and definitely with finance and economics. Generally speaking, and I'll be honest, if you are thinking about a science course, then your choice is either between physics or specialist maths. There is overlap in the content, so if we have a look at the units and the amount of work, we have this concept of vectors that go all the way through. We have this concept of trigonometry, so you really can't do physics without having some grounding in vectors and also being able to do trigonometry all the way through. So it is advantageous if you choose physics to also choose specialist maths, because some of the work that you do, you're doubling up on. So some of the course will end up being easier for you to understand. Okay, now I'd like to talk to you about essential maths. So again, up there in the bright yellow writing, this is the course for you if you are thinking about a traineeship and apprenticeship and you're not considering university. So the whole reason we have essential maths is literally to help students improve the numeracy, make you more confident, give the maths meaning, and try and get rid of any negative attitudes you have got towards maths. So technically speaking, as the maths go, more life-related, essential. As you slowly go away to general maths, it is still life-related, but it's more abstract as you go through math methods and into specialist maths. So again, If you haven't had success in maths, and you know that you might be missing some days through traineeships and apprenticeships, then Essential Maths is for you. Here are the units, and you'll probably find that there's more familiar words here. So we do a number course, we look at data, we look at displaying that and reading that data in tables and graphs. We look at managing money, so we look at the concept of percentages, we look at the concept of wages, tax and tax deductions. We also then look at rates, looking at time and motion, and we also look at data collection. In Year 12, which is predominantly Unit 3 and 4, again, we're looking at measurements, so that's our area and volume we're doing now. We're looking at scales and plans, which again, if you're thinking about a trade, that is definitely going to help you. We look at summarizing and comparing data. So within this section of measurement, we do our Pythag, we do our trig. We're also looking at summarizing that data, looking at the mean, median, and mode. And in Unit 4, we're looking at bivariate graphs, which is our scatter plots, which we're doing in Year 10. And we're also looking at loans and interest, which again is in our Grade 10 course. All right, the time requirements. This is above and beyond your 3 lessons a week. In order for you to have success, we're suggesting in general maths, you need to do another 2 hours on top of what you do in class, and that is the same with Essential Maths. If you want to do well in Essential Maths, you need to work at that work. In Specialists and Methods, again, only because of the nature that it's becoming more abstract, we're suggesting that you need at least 3 hours a week extra on what you do. All right, the assessment. In Unit 1 and 2, in any of the maths courses that we offer will consist of 3 to 4 pieces. Again, remember, Unit 1 and 2 is predominantly Year 11 work. And what we're saying is that we will give you experience with 1 to 2 extended modelling problem and solving tasks, which is your PSMT. And the other type of assessment is you could probably expect 2 exams. Sometimes there'll be mid-unit exams, which might be an exam before Easter, but they will generally be end-of-unit exams because we need to prepare you guys for end-of-unit exams. That is everything you know after 15 to 18 weeks of doing that maths subject. In Essential Maths, it varies in what is expected in Unit 3 and 4. Unit 3 and 4, you will get, again, every unit will have a modelling and problem-solving task, and you'll have 2 exams. The only difference is here, the end-of-unit exam is not written by the school, it is written by the QCAA, and we just administer their exam. So that is our version of an external exam. If you look at this, each of those pieces of assessment are equally weighted. So you're looking at a 25% end-of-unit exam that is common around the state. So every student in the state will be doing a similar exam at the end of Unit 3. All right, what I've just done at the end of the slide is putting together just examples of what the assessment looks like. So your modelling task in Essential Maths is trying to come up with recommendations for Charlotte to achieve her financial goals, which include buying cars, paying off credit cards, buying a house, getting some sort of establishing a savings account. Generally, they're all open-ended, pretty much like your current PSMT that you're doing in maths, where everyone's got their own individual data, and you try and solve the problem using the maths that you've been taught in class. All the assessment from Essential through to Specialist Maths will consist of simple questions And again, simple questions are the things that we have rehearsed in class 10 times. So here's some from the essential exam. They will also consist of complex questions, and at a essential maths level, interpreting tables and graphs is deemed to be complex. Okay, all the general subjects will have these as requirements for Unit 3 and 4. You will have one modelling and problem solving task, and that comes from Unit 3 work, and that will be 20% of your marks. The other 30% is made up of 2 exams. One is an end of Unit 3 exam, which is worth 15%, and an end of Unit 4 exam, which is worth 15%. That leaves another 50%, and that all comes from an external examination that will be done in Term 4 of Year 12. In some of the subjects, definitely methods and definitely specialists, you will find that there will be different papers. One you can use your calculator for, so that's a tech active paper, and one that has to be tech free. So we're assessing your algebraic ability as well as your calculator skills. All right, let's have a look at some questions in methods that are deemed to be simple familiar and complex familiar. Again, the big difference in methods is we are doing things that are different. We're doing curves. So here is equation of a circle. Here is find the equation of a line. Complex familiar is can you solve that? And again, more algebra and methods than there is in general. Complex unfamiliar, and an example of a problem solving and modelling task. Again, here we're assuming a linear relationship, and we just want to know how relevant or how realistic that assumption is in heating an oven. Problem solving and modelling task. Here are asking you to model functions in the split times of a 100-metre race. Okay. General maths. Problem solving and modelling task. Again, more life related, less abstract than methods, but we're looking at the financial requirements of an athlete aiming to go to the next Paralympic Games. And can you come up with a budget? And then can you refine that model so the athlete can afford to go? So it could be a savings plan. It could be looking at the type of accommodation that the athlete has when they're at the games, how they're going to go to and from training. So it's very open-ended, but again, very practical. Simple familiar questions. Again, there is still algebra in general maths. Here we have to rearrange the formula and find the number of years it takes to earn $504. Here we're talking about what is the better buy. Involves percentages and how would discount affect that sale price. Last couple of slides. Here are some examples of complex familiar and complex unfamiliar. And again, they are the way the questions run. So you have simple familiar, complex familiar, and complex unfamiliar in all of your maths subjects. So even in essential maths, you'll still be faced with complex unfamiliar, so questions you haven't been able to do. All right, in a nutshell, here's our summary. Maths is compulsory. That's the good news for grade 11 and 12, that you need to choose a maths. You can choose between an ATAR and a non-ATAR subject. You can choose general maths or maths methods. because they are the core maths that we offer, or you can choose a non-ATAR or essential maths. You will still get an ATAR if you choose one non-ATAR subject or one applied subject. All right, what next? So today, from your welfare teacher, you'll be getting a letter that outlines some of the content that has been put in this presentation. I also will be emailing that letter home to Mum and also sending a copy of this PowerPoint to them so they can have a look at the information. So what we're asking you to do is please take home that letter, sit down with your parents and discuss what maths that you wish to study next semester, because I am asking you to choose. So complete the last page, circling that of which maths you wish to do, and you'll have a choice of 3. So you'll have a choice of essential maths, general maths, or math methods. If you're interested in specialist maths, then please let me know. Please let your maths teacher that you currently have know, and we will arrange something on a Wednesday afternoon where we can sit down and we can do some maths together and give you an idea of what sort of maths it is. In fact, I will start teaching the Unit 1 in specialist maths to give you an idea of what it takes. If you have any questions, please direct them to your welfare teacher, your maths teacher, or come and see me. And again, your parents are going to be emailed a copy of the letter and a version of this presentation, so they'll have the same information for you. But again, the whole letter is around you making a right choice for grade 11. So what we're asking you to do is think carefully about what maths you just want to try this year in semester 2, and have a think and be reflective and be honest to yourself about the amount of time you're putting into that subject or you wish to put into that subject, and hopefully that you'll make the right choice for next year. All right, grade 10s, it has been great talking to you. Enjoy the rest of your presentations. Thank you very much.